Welcome to G.A.M.E. And now here's your host, GQ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We have an exciting show for you today, but make sure if you want to get in on this conversation, email us at gameshowchat@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at gameshowchat. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Today's topic, some people just, they may or may not know what's going on in the comic book game, but I mean, it's confusing. There's a lot of things. There's DC, there's Marvel, there's the Independents. There's a lot of things going on in the world of comics. So how can somebody get into comics, get into collecting them, reading them, whatever it may be? So right now, we're going to welcome Waffles to the panel and Philip. Now, Philip, let me get on you real quick. Just real quick. I noticed that you dressed up a little bit today, sir.
You know, executive time.
You're trying to look good. You just got the GQ here, and then look at you got the DQ. That's all right, though.
Dairy Queen is awesome, so yeah.
You fix that tie, though, you'll be all right. So anyway, gentlemen, let's get into this one. Game on. How do you get into comics? Let's say I'm just walking down the street, see a comic book store. I walk in, there's 1,000,000,001, titles up there. What's something I should focus on if I like, let's say, for example, action adventure, that sort of thing?
Action adventure? Well, if you're just starting, I wouldn't even go for one book. I would go for a graphic novel just to get you in there, because a book only lasts, 10 minutes, depending on the reader.
2 pages.
Exactly, or 32, depending on the book. But I would definitely go for a graphic novel, and I would ask the shop owner, what to look for, because if you have no idea what's going on, then you might buy some crap and you'd be very disappointed. So
nobody wants to spend their money on crap.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about that. Now, here's the thing, though. When you say graphic novel, you talking about like the collected graphic novels, or are you talking about just maybe like almost like a one-shot, like it's one contained story?
I said like graphic novel, pretty much everything the story leads up to, like maybe 10 books. That's everything in one graphic novel from what the issue starting off, or the story arc starting off. So it's everything in one. So that can start you off. Because that's what I did with The Walking Dead. Because I was like, Walking Dead. And I was so far behind, I got the graphic novel and it took me to the first 10 books. I'm like, this book is amazing. So that's what I say, get the graphic novel if you want to really start off something and get going with the rest. Because after that, I kept buying more graphic novels, like volume 1 through 7, the first ones I bought. And then when I got caught up, I started buying the single issues, and I just kept going to keep up. And that's pretty much made me a fan. This is like 6 years ago, before it got all popular on TV.
Okay.
And even at Comic-Con, we was at Comic-Con back in 2008, we met Robert Kirkman. And we hearing the rumors that there's gonna be a TV show or whatever. And I talked to him, I was like, hey man, you got a TV show. He's like, oh no, there's no TV show, but.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't say,
it's like he confirmed but couldn't really confirm it.
So now they bringing on new characters from the book now, and Tyrese is one of the characters they bring in. I wanted Megashawn to play that character, and he was like, he just shook his hand like, yeah, okay, whatever. So that's pretty much what you got to do when you starting off, is get the graphic novel. And one of my favorite graphic novels that I got started into is Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, Gerard Way, if you know who he is, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, he's a huge comic book fan, and he did something with the artist Gerard Barr, I think? No, Gerard Barr, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, so the book, if you like aliens, superheroes, and just time travel, then this is your book. It's like this group of family raised by this guy, but he's really an alien, and they have these abilities, and they fight these weird people and all this crazy stuff. It's like a straight up bizarre comic book, but it's real interesting with the stories being told. And this was supposed to be made a movie too as well. They was talking about making a movie, but Gerard Way was like, nah, I don't know if I want to do it because I don't want the right people messing my movie up.
Right.
And so it never got.
We don't need another Green Lantern.
No, exactly.
At all.
So that's one of my other books. Another book is Atomic Robo. That's probably a TV show too. That's like this guy, the scientist, created this robot, and he's like he goes through, like, they start off back in the World War II, and then it jumps back from World War II to the 70s to the 80s. It's just showing his time life from him being a hero, because he's the savior of the Nazi, killing the Nazis or whatever. So he's just this big hero. But the book goes from the World War II till now, so it jumps around. But it's a funny book. That's the thing. It's like, it can be a TV show, and there was talk about being a TV show, or a movie, and it never got picked up. So it's a funny book. It's real action orientated, it's science fiction orientated.
Now, for anybody that's sitting there, what's the average cost of a graphic novel, though? Because I mean, comic books nowadays, what's the cover price on the average book now?
Depending if it's a premium book, let's say about $4.
$4.
And if it's like a big title, like Avengers or Batman or X-Men, that'll set you back $4. But like the lesser titles set you back $2.99.
$2.99.
Used to be cheaper than that, but
It used to be. Hold on. Let's run this down.
Comics are going up like gas prices.
Let's run this down real quick, because you're right, it's going up just like gas prices. This is just real quick, because I was looking this up. In 1975, average comic book cost 25 cents. 85 jumped up to 75 cents. 5 years later, 1990, hit $1 finally. A year later than that, 75 more cents is added, $1.75. Then all of a sudden you hit 99, $2.75. By the end of 2012, $3.50 a book on average.
That's
and then, like you said, $4 now.
because I remember I used to drop like $60 every Wednesday, 60, 70
Every
bucks.
Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
Where was
because
you working?
It was a little factory, well, not a little factory, big factory, and I made a lot of money to help me go to Comic-Con, so thank you.
There you go. Okay.
Another good way, if you want to increase your backlog, is that you can get digital books now, and you can get like 99 cents for a bunch of old books, in your catalog, if you want to go that route.
Okay, now remember we talked about that on
Yep.
another show. We were talking about whether or not people should get into the digital thing, whether or not, for the collectible value and all, because obviously you can't put a digital comic up on the shelf and be like, hey, I got a digital copy of Superman 1. That's nice. And, that's kind of what, it becomes. So with the digital books, now for 99 cents, you're saying you get a couple books, or is it just 99 cents per book?
They have deals, or you can get bundles. You can go to the whole backlog. Each book is 99 cents. So that's pretty cool.
But like you said, if you go to Amazon, it's cheaper because in the comic book stores, most of the graphic novels are like $18.99.
Okay.
And there's times I done dropped $18.99 because I was like, oh, I really want this book. And this is before I realized Amazon is cheaper. So, because like the books I told you earlier, they're like Atomic Rebel was like 14,
Okay.
I think, $14.99, I think, and Umbrella Academy is around the same price as well. So. Like Amazon's really got some good prices when it comes to books instead of going
on the route you wanna
depending on
go
the route
to.
you want to go, yeah.
Like,
Right.
you support your local comic shop and whatnot. But
Okay. Well, supporting the local comic shops, definitely, because it's unfortunately, it's like, okay, for example, I went out to LA a couple weeks back, or a couple months ago actually, and they had comic book stores every time you turned around, there's a new comic book store, a new collectible store, or whatever it may be. Over here on the East Coast, eastern side of the country, is not as much unless you're in Chicago, unless you're in New York, or even go up to Canada and Toronto, they got comic book stores everywhere. But like you said, the local shops are just they're kind of hurting right now, because I guess, like I said, $4 a book, a lot of people, especially in this economy, they don't have the money for that.
Exactly, and it's such a thing because like when I realized the prices went up, I said, oh boy, I can't spend no money like this. $4 for a book, that's a pack of cigarettes. Even though I don't smoke, but that's a whole meal at McDonald's.
I don't even think that's a pack of cigarettes nowadays.
That's a dollar menu. You get you two burgers and a large fry.
Large fry? You better bump that down to a value fry, man. You're talking about a large fry.
I mean, if you add it up, because I bought McDonald's earlier today.
Yeah, but you're forgetting about tax. Look at you.
Yeah, but
Okay, so it sounds like the collected way, the collected books, the collected graphic novels are kind of the way to go, because I like Batman. Batman is, to me, with the exception of that, this is Bane, and, I didn't like that sort of thing from Dark Knight Rises, but I like the Nightfall storyline, how they brought Bane in. So I was doing some quick research. They said that that Nightfall, I guess the story costs you about $90 if you get those 3 big, real thick, collected graphic novels. But if you were crazy enough to try to track down every book involved in it, or every book that was, connected to it, it, hits you up for a couple hundred. Plus, some of them are premium books, so of course, the big event, especially when he got his back broken, 497, in issue 500 when they brought the new costume in, those are premium books. So of course, those have a little bit more value added to them.
Oh yeah, then you got the alternate covers too as well. So I'm assuming that's add-on. But I think that's the actual comic book stores doing that, because I saw some issues and the alternate covers. I'm like, man, I'm not about to pay that much money for 22 pages.
Well, fair enough, but we're running out of time. But unfortunately, we were running out of time, because this conversation is good. But just on that note, though, I think that the death of Superman is what allowed them to do something like that.
Yeah,
that brought in a whole bunch of things where death of Superman was a huge media event. You were hearing about that stuff on the news. But if you want to get on the conversation, make sure that you email us at GameShowChat. Excuse me. Email us gameshowchat@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at GameShowChat. Gentlemen, this is the end. Game over.
As you know, I'm quite keen on comic books. Take my favorite superhero, Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. What Kent wears, the glasses, the business suit, that's the costume.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.